Hello, it's Maxine, Kaye, and yoga from the Greater Philadelphia Center for Spiritual Living, usually in Paoli, Pennsylvania, but we're not there right now. So we just love sending you another love note, connecting with you in the best way we know how. From this very chair, in the mornings, and throughout the day as well, but usually just in the mornings when I have an opportunity to look out there, on our deck, I see birds, lots of birds. Reverend Mike has become the neighborhood bird buffet poobah. And he has two different sets of feed in two different little feeders. And they're hooked together with chain so that there are some birds who can eat from the top one and some who can eat from the one about 8 inches lower. And of course they gather on the deck, and they sometimes wait their turn and many times do not. But what I was noticing this morning was that there's a particular group of birds that are really rascally, and they haven't yet learned just to get along, and they don't share very well, and they have a pecking order, shall we say. And they're called European Starlings. And wouldn't you think, with a name like that they would have better manners? Well, they don't. Well, goodbye, yoga. It's a nice to see you. She said, "You're going to talk about birds, I'm out of here." But these European starlings will come, a dozen or so at a time. And there's plenty of food in each of the feeders. And there's enough room on each of these feeders that you could actually have easily 3 or 4 birds at a time. But they don't work it that way. They need a little raise in consciousness, I think, because their mouths are like this, and they often are using their beaks trying to chase the other one away, rather than using that beak to just jump right into that food and eat it all up. Is not something you or I would like to eat, but they like it very much. And it made me think about how we sometimes are fussing with each other over what we think we need and want, and trying to keep someone else from getting it. There are people in the world like this. It's not anyone that I'm talking to right now. This is not who we are. But you may notice that there's some greed in the world, and that there is some one-upmanship in the world. And it's like these birds that haven't yet gotten that when they go to their source, in that case their food, everything is there for them, and there is enough to share, enough to spare, enough for everybody. And the ones, I think, who are a bit more aware, a bit more awake, maybe a little more mature, are the ones who don't mind if another one comes on the feeder and joins them in enjoying this. All of us have the ability to enter deeply into our source. Each one of us can enjoy the fruits of our consciousness. Just in the last love note, Reverend Mike was speaking to you about spiritual mind treatment and its efficacy. Don't you love that word? How it works well for us when we are employing it lovingly and wisely. When we go to our source, we know that we can speak our word for something beautiful to take place in our lives through spiritual mind treatment. And unless we have a negative belief about it in any way, unless there's some sort of restriction within our consciousness, that beautiful new idea will out. We will bear the fruit of a new, beautiful, divine concept. But if we're getting nervous about, is there really enough? And if we think we need to have something that we don't want anyone else to have, We're only denying our own good. So I think the birds are teaching us a lesson, at least this variety. We can see that there's no reason to flutter about and to be upset about somebody getting something good. For years and years, I have enjoyed the beautiful spiritual practice, which is now second nature to me, maybe first nature now, of celebrating every person's good. If someone receives a raise at work, yay, that's wonderful. If they purchase a new home or a new car, I love it. I celebrate for them. The more we can open our hearts and give thanks for all the good that is ours and truly, truly appreciate each person's good, the deeper our open-heartedness becomes to receive our own good as well. So let's not be bird brains. Instead, let's know that this source is available to every sentient being. You have a right to all of the love and all of the wholeness and all of the abundance and all of the joy and all of the creative activity and every form of happiness. And so despite anything that we may experience in the world, and there's plenty of it, isn't there? Despite the uncertainty and the tension that seems to be building in a lot of human consciousness, we don't have to go there. We can sit in our own space, our own sacred space. In fact, I have found that if I begin to become concerned or tense about anything, I have learned to give myself a spiritual spa time. I can take 5 minutes or less and simply say, I need to be still. I choose to be quiet. And in that sweet, sacred space, I remember who I am, and you can remember who you are as well. And we can continue to go to our source, to drink deeply from those living waters of spirit. And life becomes beautiful again, as in truth it already is. We just forget sometimes. So next love note you receive will be from Reverend Mike. And of course on Sundays we have our live stream, and you can connect with us on a Sunday morning at 10:30, or you can look at it later if you want to sleep it a little bit. And all you do is go to our website, which is cslphilly.org, and there's a link you could click and it takes you right to the live stream. If you look at that button now, it'll tell you how many days and hours are left before it starts, but you still can click on that button and you can see archived live streams of Sunday morning, and you can also see archived love notes from Reverend Mike and from me, because we love you dearly. We wish to stay connected with you. We want to keep fluffing each other up. These are the times that we can allow that divine presence within us to connect so beautifully with everyone in our lives. And while you're on that website, by the way, why don't you go ahead and do what many of you have been doing so beautifully, and we thank you for that. And that is to make a contribution to keep this beloved community alive and healthy. We love you. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.